Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Overtime. Today, we sat down with Coach Scott and senior Drew Zagorski to discuss the midpoint of this shortened basketball season, and we had a few questions directly for Drew to discuss his development and growth over his 4-year journey through the Hersey basketball program. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Hersey Hoops. This is our third episode. My name is Connor Durkin, and alongside me is Connor Krebs. Today, we are very excited to have Coach Scott on once again, along with senior Drew Zagorski. So without further ado, how are you guys feeling today?
Doing pretty good. How are you guys?
Doing great.
Doing great. I'm always doing great. Highlight of my week, guys. We got Krebs tuning in live from the Tuscan countryside here with the artwork behind them. Love to see it.
Yes, sir. You gotta love it. So I wanted to start off today taking back a little bit to the game against Meadows. Obviously, it didn't go the way we wanted it to, but you were able to come back the next day and get that win against Schaumburg. And this year, obviously, because of COVID, the games have been so close together, closer than normal. How have you guys been able to adjust to all these back-to-back games?
Well, honestly, it takes a big toll on your body. So we've taken a big stress on taking time to go roll out in the trainer or take an ice bath in the trainer and just make sure that you're feeling okay so that way you don't go out and hurt yourself or pull a muscle or something like that. And then for game preparation, I mean, there isn't a lot of time, so that requires us to have to sacrifice our free time at home and have to go to school early and watch film and go over the scouting reports and walk through things that the other team goes through earlier than we would on a normal year.
I agree with Drew. It's kind of a shorter time frame to prepare, but I think that increases the level of focus with the guys as well. You know, I think sometimes when they have 4 or 5 days to prepare for an opponent, it doesn't take the precedence that it should sometimes for players. So it's kind of really helped them focus on the individual game plans for every day. So it's actually been, a blessing, I think, in some ways, especially in having a veteran team.
Yeah, and Drew, Krebs was telling me you had, so far, your best game against Schaumburg, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, congrats on that for sure.
Thunder is slam transition.
I saw that transition dunk. I was watching you, Drew.
You bet.
Thanks, Krebs.
Yeah, so after a while back, I think this was before the Meadows and Schaumburg game, you guys played BG in your first conference match against them, in which you won 70-66, 34 from Ethan, 20 from Ben, possibly one of your best games. After you're feeling hot like this and you're going into a game against such a great player like Max Christie, is it a different scenery almost playing against them, preparing since you feel hot and you I had to mess that question up a little bit, but yeah.
It's kind of like a reality check after you win that you got to just, it's a great team win, and then you kind of just got to put it in the back of your mind and move on to the next game and realize that Max Christie's a different player and that you've got to attempt to do different things to win against different teams.
Yeah, I like that phrase that Drew said. It's a reality check, One of the things we used to always say in the summer is you're only a success at the moment you perform a successful act. And with these games so close together, you beat Buffalo Grove one night, and that's a tough, exhausting game. And then, 2 days later or 24 hours later, you're on the floor against one of the better prospects in the country. So you got to have a reality check that you need to be successful again in planning and execution with a quick turnaround.
Yeah, and prior to that, you guys had played Maine South, who, until you had played them, had a very nice resume. They beat Loyola and Deerfield, if I'm not wrong. Yep. What were some of the keys to that one?
Drew?
For that game, I would definitely say it was rebounding and making the most out of every possession, because Maine South's known for, they've got a really good big who I believe is going to Illinois Wesleyan, so they like to pull it out, slow it down, and kind of just make the most of their possessions because they can only score mainly on the inside. And so we were trying to – oh, my gosh, I totally forgot your question.
I'm so sorry. What are some of the keys to the Maine South game?
Oh, So we had to make sure that we maximized our possessions every time we had the ball, because it was kind of a blessing to be able to get it and get a stop from them and be able to go back down again on our own offensive end.
Yeah, Maine South is a really unique style of play. It's a lot of matchup zone defense, and then they run a lot of great sets, and they're very physical on the interior. Ryan Goditis did a great job matching, as Drew said, Marco Anderson's physicality in the paint there. There's a great game from the G House, Mount G. So it was an awesome win on the road at a really tough place to play.
And the game before that, you guys had played Buffalo Grove in a friendly game, and you ended up winning by 10. You guys played really well in that one. Ethan had 42. Do you think this game kind of, especially the first half, do you think this game kind of set the tone for how you guys want to play and your style of basketball?
I would agree with that. Yeah, the first half of basketball was probably the best team basketball we had played at that point, and our overall team defense for the first, I'd say, quarter and a half was just outstanding. We were able to get stops, get out in transition, because we're really good out in transition. So that allowed us to get scores and stops at the same time, and it was fantastic team basketball.
Yeah, I thought, to your point, Connor, we were really efficient in that game. We got good shots, we got open shots, and we're fortunate enough to capitalize on those and build a solid lead against a really good team. And I like that term, that friendly term. I can tell you're a nuanced soccer fan. But obviously a unique situation, but it was good.
And then finally, last night, you guys played Prospect. And if I'm correct, Coach, was that your first win against the rivals Prospect?
Yeah, it is, man.
I thought so. Yeah, that's definitely something to be said.
Yeah, so, I was 0-4. We were 0-4 as a program against Prospect at the varsity level past 2 years. So it felt good to get that monkey off the back. And Gene Walker Fieldhouse is a tough place to play, and they always shoot the ball well there. And they did last night. They made 11 threes last night. Whenever you're able to beat a team that makes 11 threes, you must have been pretty efficient on offense too. And we were, and made some big plays down the stretch. But give Prospect a lot of credit. They always give you their best shot in Mount Prospect.
And now tonight, you guys play Wheeling.
So we're about halfway through the season now, and this season has just flown by, in my opinion, with the games being so tight together. And what has been the high point of this season so far?
The highest point of the season so far has probably been being able to beat BG back-to-back, because ever since my 6th grade feeder team, we had never beaten my age group's BG team until, actually, I guess last year, or 2 years ago. My sophomore year was the first time we ever beat them. So being able to beat them back-to-back has definitely been the highest point for me.
I think the players are always getting super excited, and I do as well. I think our to kind of flip this question a little bit, I think our high point is still to come, Connor. So we're climbing. We're still getting higher.
With no state tournament this year, what would you consider your highest goal? Like, what would be your highest goal for this year?
I would say probably win the crossover championship if we could get there. That would be our goal, is to win the division and try to win the conference.
Yeah, I think without an IHSA postseason, that's the goal that we have in mind, and we got to put ourselves in position to get there, and then maximize our opportunities when we do. So we're looking forward to that.
What are you guys also looking to improve on during this mid-season stretch?
Probably we would have to work on just taking care of the ball and maximizing our possessions, because I think that's our biggest struggle as a team, is sometimes we we just turn the ball over and they get easy transition points, and that's when we kind of dig ourselves into holes where we let up like 12 or 13-point runs off of just our own mistakes.
Yeah, I think we've been really good at getting leads and building leads, and I think we have to work on maintaining and stretching leads. And by trusting what's got us there, I think Drew said it pretty eloquently. Sometimes we allow the other teams to go on runs that we instigate, either with quick shot selection or not taking care of the ball or something like that.
Drew, you are a multi-sport athlete. Obviously, during the winter, it's basketball. Spring is volleyball. And then during fall, you and I are both part of the golf team. How do you try to stay sharp during the off-season of those sports?
So after 4 years, I've kind of got it down to a science of that. Like during basketball season, I'm also working on. In a normal year, I'd be playing club volleyball on Sundays, which is the only off day for basketball, because that'd be the next upcoming season. And then during volleyball, I'd be going to like the spring golf camps. And so the season that's like the farthest away is kind of just like on pause. And so then like you slowly work it into the next season, and you just like, you do every little thing you can for each sport, like when you have like a little opportunity. So it's really time consuming because there's not a lot of free time, because when you are free, you want to be working for your next sports. That way you're ready for that season, because they all just come flying at you right away.
Durkin?
Yeah, sorry, Drew. It's like you keep cutting out, so it's really hard to hear you. Sorry. What is your longest drive and your best round for golf? Just out of curiosity.
Ooh.
Longest drive would probably be hole 5 at Old Orchard. I just absolutely pounded one, and we shot it back to the tee box, and it was, I think, around 330. And then my best round in a tournament would be at Highland Woods. I shot 79, and then overall at practice I shot a 35 on the front, which is 1 under.
Hole 5. What is hole 5? The long downhill one?
Yeah, it's like the semi downhill par 4 where there's water on the left and right.
Yeah. Okay. It's a tough hole.
With that,
I guess when you drive at 330, it makes it a little bit easier. I have no idea how that feels, but
yeah, you pretty much bring the water out of play with that one.
With that being said, Drew, what is your favorite Hersey basketball memory?
Oh, that's a good question. It would probably have to be sophomore year with Miguel Melendez in the St. Charles tournament. I rolled my ankle, and so he gave this big like halftime speech that just like made everyone start like crying and get all excited, and we made a giant comeback against I think it was Geneva. We made a giant comeback against Geneva to end up winning the game, and I think that brought us to the championship. And he just gave this giant speech that everyone rallied behind, and it was one of the coolest moments I've been a part of, because I've never seen someone give such a like unifying speech before.
Drew, with you being on the team all 4 many Hersey basketball players, is anyone that was a role model for you during your early years of basketball?
Yeah, I would actually definitely say Scottrogowsky, because watching him play, even as a freshman, just playing on the sophomore team and then up on varsity, just watching the way he played and his mannerisms on the basketball court of just he gives his effort 100% of the time, and he does the little things like, yeah, he's a small guard, but he still tries to get offensive rebounds, and he always guarded the best player. And so just watching him play, he was just someone great to watch, to learn from. And I don't know, he's always been one of my favorites to watch. Even last year, just watching him play was just super fun.
Yeah, I agree with Drew. You know, selfishly, I wish my son would have been older to watch Scott. because I think everybody just learns from him. And I think Andrew learned a lot from him as a junior, and even some of the younger guys in the program, as Drew mentioned. But I wish Dean would have been able to be like, okay, this is what being a student athlete looks like on the court, off the court, maturity wise. And he just set such a great example for so many kids in so many different ways. And you never heard about it from Scott too. That's what I loved about it. He was the last to talk about himself.
Yeah, and obviously, Drew, now that you're a senior, there's people looking up to you. If you had to give one piece of advice to those guys, what would it be?
It would probably just be to stick with it, because I mean there's moments of lows, and then there's also moments of highs, and sometimes those low moments throughout whatever team you play on, freshman, sophomore, or varsity, like they're killers. But I mean, eventually you keep grinding and you'll get to where you want to be, and then it's a blast once you get there. So you just got to stick with it and keep working. There's adversity in everything.
And this is our final question here. Drew, what do you think you excel at best on the court?
Probably I come off the bench and do like I wouldn't say like the little things, but I do some little things well. Like I can come off the bench and I can shoot the ball well. I've taken a couple charges over the years, and not over the years, over the past couple games, and get some key offensive rebounds and rebounds here and there. And I think I just do like a little bit of everything.
Can I add to that real quick?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think
for
Drew, coming off the bench is super efficient. He's shooting one of the highest percentages on our team. His plus minus as a player is really good when he comes in. He shoots good shots, all right, and he rebounds. I can trust Drew to do the right things when he comes into the game, and that's where he's been so valuable. So now we're going to be switching over to the unscripted portion. Drew, you ready for this?
I am.
All right,
Krebs, you can take the first one here.
Who's your celebrity crush?
Selena Gomez.
Well, hold on. So technically, Mary Kate could be considered a celebrity. They're the number 1 ranked team in the state. So
That is true.
That question has an asterisk to it.
What is your favorite quote?
Ooh, I'd probably have to go with the quote where it's "You miss 100% of the shots you don't take." That was a poster in my 4th grade classroom, and ever since that, I've kind of just had that like in the back of my mind of just like, if you are thinking about doing something, just give it a shot and see where it takes you. Because if you don't do it, you'll never know.
Who's your favorite NBA player?
I'd probably have to go with Luka Doncic. I'm a huge Luka fan. I just think the stuff he can do with the ball and the range he has shooting is just crazy.
This one, Coach Scott helped us came up with before you joined today. What is your best meal that you can prepare completely on your own?
So over quarantine, I cooked every, I think, Thursday night for like 5 weeks straight. And the best meal I made was homemade orange chicken. And that was good. That was good stuff.
Oh, so he could definitely cook then, Coach Scott. 100%, yeah.
Oh, for sure. Drew is like a renaissance man. He's like splitting the atom between 9:50 and 11 o'clock. And then, he's doing leadership stuff and service things. And then he's like starting fundraisers for food allergies. And then he's cooking orange chicken on his own. Like I can coach basketball and maybe shoot a basketball. But other than that, like my greatest skill is like knowing how to use a comma. Like Drew's got me beat, man. He's going to be something special.
Drew, well, on the topic of food, what is your pregame meal?
Honestly, I don't really have one. I just always find myself eating so I've got a peanut allergy, so I always eat like almond butter sandwiches, and I always just find myself eating one of those before I leave to come to Hersey. So I guess that would be what it is.
If you got to pick one person, alive or dead, to sit down with for 1 hour, who would it be?
probably Kobe Bryant actually recently, because I mean he played through all the different eras of the NBA, and I just feel like just getting to talk to him and hear stories of how like the game has changed would just be incredibly interesting.
It's a good pick.
In your opinion, what is your greatest accomplishment?
Recently, I would probably have to go with making it downstate for golf, because I mean I don't take that sport incredibly seriously compared to the other two that I play. But like as a team, being able to qualify for that was something that we've been talking about ever since our sophomore year together. And so that was just like a little thing in my life that we had been trying to get to forever. And so making it there, even though it never technically happened, was probably one of my coolest achievements.
This one's a favorite from last year. Bringing it back. Who on the team, in your opinion, has the best hair?
Oh gosh. There's no more Dan Clausen, so there's no guaranteed pick.
Yeah, he was a favorite last year. I remember that.
Honestly, I'd probably have to. Goditis got a fresh cut yesterday, and I'd probably have to go with Goditis.
Yeah,
Everyone kind of has like a similar haircut this year.
I was just about to say that. I feel like everyone, now I'm thinking about it, and I feel like almost everyone has the same haircut. Like,
Braden's got the fade out.
Yeah, Braden's got a nice fade.
And Uvalde's always cut up.
I mean, Wolf had that prime afro before the season started.
Wolf lets it grow. He does his thing.
That was interesting. But yeah, I don't know, everyone's kind of the same, but Goditis got cut yesterday and it looked pretty good, so I'll go with Goditis.
and I believe this is our last unscripted question. Who's the best dancer on the team?
Andrew Wagner. No hesitation, 100%.
Really? All right. I don't think I would have guessed Andrew, honestly.
Wags is a dancer? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I saw him with his little like 3 strumming yesterday.
Yeah, just use guitar strum.
Yeah, I told him I wasn't a huge fan. I'll pass on that.
Great stuff.
All right, guys, that's going to wrap up the Unscripted. You guys have any shout-outs here before we wrap it up?
I always like to give a shout-out to our managers. Rox and Yash are doing a great job. Yash is always the loudest person on the bench. You can hear him on film and stuff like that. And also, like I know yesterday, a lot of people watching on the live streams at home. I got a lot of texts that people are staying involved and supporting Hersey basketball. So I just want to thank all our fans, past parents, past players. Got a text from Davis Belford yesterday, class of 2018. Was excited for us. So all those guys for staying involved with the program. Really appreciate it. So thanks, guys.
Yeah, I got nothing, no one to shout out that I can think of off the top of my head.
I think Durkin might be frozen, so thank you guys for coming today. It's been fun. Sorry with all the technical difficulties, but
No worries. You just keep doing you, Krebs. You're the talent, man.
yeah.
All good, Krebs.
All right,
Yeah.
take charge today, Krebs.
I plan on it. I've been out for a while, and I plan on getting back into the race or whatever it is. I definitely plan on winning. Oh, wait, hold on. I don't think.